Hi, hope you enjoyed that Louis Vuitton video on the circus theme, how they created it. Okay, let's move on to part 2 about materials and props and tools of visual merchandising. Okay, first let's talk about materials and props. Um, Materials and props are really important because they actually impact the display because they form up the elements of a display. And a lot of times they are very necessary, as in they play a function in the display to ensure that the merchandise can be seen. They make sure that the merchandise is put into context. Like if you want to display a fork or a spoon, you will put it on a dining table. Just like if you want to display a plate, you will put it on a dining table. It's the context for your merchandise. And your materials and your props actually make up your theme. With the right materials and props, the theme then can get communicated to the customers. And of course, very importantly, as visual merchandisers, the cost of your materials and props are very important because you will always have a budget to take care of. How versatile your materials and props are. Can you reuse them? Can they be used for different themes? And of course, their function. Can it be more than one function? Can your table be used for different kinds of settings? Can it be used as a prop, and then after that, can it be used as something that's mounted on the wall to create a wall hanging? Let's touch on materials first. We have construction boards, which are made up of the various foam boards, plywood boards, and gypsum boards. The various fabrics. Fabrics add richness to displays. They give a much softer feel that cannot really be created with any other solid materials. And paper, one of the most cost-effective material there is, and actually very versatile as well, but of course it is not as durable. Paper cannot last as long as, say, fabric or construction board. And paint, another very cost-effective material that can be used to play a lot of different functions. We shall see. Okay, foam boards, what you're very familiar with, they can be styrofoam, or what we are more familiar with nowadays is Capeline, a type of compressed foam in various thickness according to how we want to use it and how much weight it's supposed to bear. Plywood boards, another very cost-effective material. Of course, it takes a little bit of expertise to handle, but with the right tools, plywood boards can be used for a lot of various settings and themes. And gypsum boards, these are actually what we call dry walls. A lot of closed windows actually use gypsum boards as their backing, and gypsum boards can also be used as a divider for different settings in in-store displays. Fabrics, we have of course the most luxurious fabrics, silk. Different types of brocade can be used to create a feeling that is very rich and very lush. Linen is often used to give a very raw and rustic feel. Organza, this is very popular for events, used as table wraps or wall hangings. And tweed, these fabrics take on very different roles because they can be very versatile depending on their color and their patterns, and they can be used to play a lot of different roles, such as tablecloths or even chair reupholstery or wall fabrics. Let's see how fabrics are used in actual displays. Can you see the backdrop? It is actually a piece of fabric that's been made to look like a wave. Can you see this fabric? Its weight, the way it drapes, gives the feeling of luxury in this window. These fabrics and their colors can be a very fast and easy way to create the mood for the window, as can be seen in the vibrant colors used in this window. And rich velvet can be used in such ways to create the feeling of luxury. And this is using paper, using origami to create a very interesting and complex background. Yet because of the color of the paper that is all in white, it helps the clothing on the mannequin to stand out. And believe it or not, this castle and the trees are all entirely made of paper. And look at this paper backdrop that is used. It is so beautiful that it nearly almost takes away the attention from the back. But what is so clever about it is that it draws the attention, and then because of the color of the bag and the shoes that's in front that stands out, it brings your attention to the merchandise that is displayed. Okay, using paint to make your props more interesting. Look at all these crates. These are just cheap crates that can be found anywhere. But using paint, you can convert them to display and highlight the colorfulness of the shoes. And what about this? All of the shoes have been painted blue. So it actually brings out the effect of the color of the other shoes that are not in blue. And this window has paint pouring down on the glass to create the attention and to emphasize the color that are used in the merchandise. This is a very interesting shop window because instead of painting the merchandise or the props, the actual facade of the store is painted in a triangle, in a bright color like yellow, so it really draws a lot of attention. And do you notice that some parts of the furniture are painted as well? And they form the triangle together with the facade? Okay, let's move on to other materials. We have different floor finishings. We have wood floor finishing, laminate, ceramic tiles, vinyl, and marble, and Siemenscrete. We'll go through them one by one so that you can familiarize yourself. This is an example of a wood flooring. As you can see, this is a very raw wood flooring. So you can see all the various wood grains. They've not been stained, they've not been polished. And it brings out the rawness, of the environment that is in line with the merchandise that the store is trying to sell. Things like bicycles and outdoor wear. This is laminate flooring. Laminate flooring very often takes on a wood kind of look, but laminate flooring are basically made of artificial materials that can look like any color or any other material. They can look like wood, they can look like marble. Basically, it's an artificial thin layer that you lay on cement that will give off a feel of whatever material you want, but it is not of that actual material and it is a lot cheaper. This is marble flooring. Marble flooring is very often used in luxury boutiques. I don't know if you remember the first lecture we had when we saw the Bulgari video. They used a lot of marble because marble is a very expensive natural stone. So when you have marble walls and marble floors, naturally your customers would feel that it is an expensive, luxurious boutique. And ceramic tiles. Ceramic tiles are very versatile because they come in a range of colors. In this store, you can see they use the very basic square white ceramic tiles, and they did not tile everything. They tiled part of the wall and part of the floor, making it a lot more interesting. And this is vinyl flooring. Vinyl flooring is very commonly used in large social spaces, and they are very versatile in terms of the different colors. It is actually one huge sheet of vinyl that is laid over the entire floor, so you can actually have patterns. They are relatively cheap, but they may not be as long-lasting as something like marble or ceramic. And Siemenscrete. If you notice in First Avenue, part of our floor is actually Siemenscrete. It is actually very trendy to have this kind of industrial feel in the past few years, and they are relatively affordable as well. Okay, the various tools. Let's take a look at the tools. Can you name them? We have got the various items such as the stapler gun, the one that says Stanley, the hammer, the one with the wooden handle, the hot glue gun, the item with a wire, glue sticks, right next to the hot glue gun. Hot glue guns and glue sticks are very good in securing items on flat walls. Measuring tape, this is a must-have for any visual merchandiser. A flat screwdriver. Can you see the flat screwdriver in this picture? A flat screwdriver can only it's more versatile. It can screw in screws that have crosses and flat screws. We have got pliers. They can be used to shape wire. We have the steel rule. These are used for cutting various materials such as foam boards. We have a wooden pencil, good for making markings of measurements before you do any cutting. And a torpedo level. Can you see what is that? It is the yellow item right at the top with some liquid inside. It looks a little bit like a thermometer, the liquid. Okay, that item is used to ensure that whatever you paste on the wall is perpendicular to the wall, which means that it will be parallel to the ground and to the horizon. Okay, let's talk about props next. Props should always focus on the merchandise. They should never be more outstanding than the merchandise. Okay, props can be used as a strategy to display your merchandise. Some of the strategies used are using props en masse, meaning a lot of the same item. Bespoke props, props that are created just for a specific display or window. Salvaged props, props that are recycled or props that are found at places that people discard. Let's look at this. What do you all think? This is props en masse because there are a lot of paper lanterns. As we know, paper lanterns are not expensive. So when you put a lot of these inexpensive items together in this analogous color scheme, it creates an impression and an impact. This one, again, props en masse. If you look at the chairs, do they look like expensive chairs to you? No, they don't. It's just that they've all been painted white. So they all have this interesting, they form this interesting display. But I would imagine that the visual merchandiser did not spend too much money buying these chairs and not too much effort painting them all white. Bespoke props. Can you see the fiberglass beads in this MS display? They are made especially for this display. They cannot be used for any other display other than this. And what about the fish in this display? They were also made especially for this display. This is for Moncler. This is what we mean by salvaged props. The paint cans and the paint brushes, you can see that they were used and discarded, and this visual merchandiser took them all and hung them up, and together they formed this very interesting display. Does this look familiar? Tires that are painted white? Okay, again, these are salvage props, items that are thrown away, but because of the effect and how a visual merchandiser can treat it, it forms a very interesting prop, and it actually blends in with the environment of the store.